HarperCollins presents The Greek House by Dinah Jefferies, read by Genevieve Gaunt. For my husband, my daughter, my son-in-law, and my grandchildren, thank you for all the wonderful Ionian Island holidays we've shared. Among all peoples, Greeks have dreamt life's dream most beautifully. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Part 1. Corfu, August 1923. Chapter 1. Dulcie. Dulcie narrowed her eyes at the bright light streaming in through half-open curtains, then glanced at her bedside clock. Still early, but the familiar tightness in her chest and the sense of foreboding were already there. She shivered, though not from the cold. It was August, and this was Corfu. She wasn't having a heart attack either, not at the age of 38, but the presentiment that had gripped her yesterday was deepening. She caught her breath, and for a moment or two could not seem to exhale. She left her bed, slipped on her lilac kimono, and unwrapped a mint from the glass bowl on her dressing table, popping it into her mouth and sucking the cool of it, on what was already becoming a warm day. She wiped her brow, picked up her silver hairbrush, and lifting the weight of her strawberry blonde hair from the back of her neck, brushed it, then twisted and pinned it into an elegant low chignon. Thoughts tumbled in her mind, but she picked up her pen, took a sheet of writing paper out of the desk, and began to write. After a moment, and hearing the hoo, hoo, hoo of the gulls, she looked up, sitting completely still, listening, considering. Everything is going to fall apart. The words were not penciled into her mind, but rather as indelible as the little teardrop stain blooming on the cuff of her kimono. The drip of blue ink a constant irritation, a mark on the tip of her nose or maybe her chin where she'd absent-mindedly touched the skin, the writer's curse, an editor's curse too. She put down her pen to gaze out of the window, inhaling the scent of rosemary from the bushes in their courtyard garden. After too long, Dulcie sighed, shook herself mentally. There was no point dwelling on what she could not change. Whatever was going on in the rest of Corfu, she could only focus on her life, on her family. That was what mattered. Right now, she had only to wash and get on with the day, for there was plenty to be getting on with. Later, she would answer some work letters, though it was much harder to concentrate with the children around. After bathing, she sat at her dressing table in her underwear and applied a dark red Guerlain lipstick, adding a dab of rouge to her cheeks, while wondering what the mood in town would be. Yesterday, when she and her family had arrived from Merchant's House, their summer home in the north, there had been a general air of unease. News of the murders had only recently broken. Would reality have sunk in now? Dulcie sighed, spraying her wrists with tabac blonde, a daring scent she'd fallen in love with, then slipped into a green Madeleine Vionnet dress that clung to her curves. The impractical silk dress made her feel immensely desirable. She knew what happened as women grew older, and she was determined to remain visible for as long as she could. She straightened her back, left her bedroom, and went downstairs to fetch the children, for she'd arranged to meet Odell at the cafe that morning. Dulcie hadn't wanted to leave Merchant's, for the tall, narrow townhouse where her husband, Captain Piers Caruthers, director of the British Police School, lived during the working week. But there were undeniable advantages to being in town, and proximity to a good friend was certainly one of them. With Billy's hand clasped in one of hers,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?